Hello, and thank you for joining me on A Dose of Positive. My name is Aubrey Nowitzki, and today's quote is, what is today's quote? I have it. It's not what you know, but who you know that makes a difference. And it is so true. So today we're going to be talking about how to land that first job. I get this question all the time. Okay. I work with a lot of seniors or college students in general. And every year when it comes time to graduate, I get this question of, Aubrey, how do I get a job? Can you help me get a job? And getting a job is a full-time job in and of itself. So I'm going to give you guys a couple tips and tricks, things that you guys need to put on your action item list before approaching professionals to ask for their advice and guidance. Okay, so number one is you need to write down what you want. So essentially, you need to come up with your own objectives. And this is really something that takes time, okay? So sit down with yourself and say, what do I want in a job, okay? And put down a couple keywords like I want to travel. I want something that has a good pay. I want something that uses this skill or that skill or that is challenging. Whatever it is that you're looking for, okay? Write those things down, like what you want in life, almost like what you would want in a guy or in a girl, right? Write those things down. From that, you need to then figure out, based on what you want, your objective, what job titles or opportunities actually parallel with that. Okay, so what that means is you need to do some research. Okay, that's step two. Get on the internet. Me personally, when I was graduating from school, I knew that I wanted to do event planning, which for people who don't really know a lot about event planning, that's very broad to say, I want to do events. Okay, right? And saying that to someone like, can you help me get a job? I want to do events is so broad. I mean, there's so many different components to event planning. So like any other industry, you need to be as specific as possible. And in order to be specific, you need to do your research. So what I did is I went on about.com. I checked several different sources and I kind of found different titles like coordinator, marketing coordinator, or social media specialist, or event coordinator, or different titles. And I read those descriptions and I said, does this description match what my objectives are? And if it did, I was like, okay, awesome. I think that's maybe a title in a company that I can start to look for as I'm looking for available positions and things like that, or just in general. And speaking with people, I can say, this is like what I'm looking for. I'm looking to become an event coordinator for doing these specific things, or whatever it may be. Okay, so try and get as specific as you can and do your own research. Okay, so then once you've done that, leverage your existing network. This is so important. Okay, so and speaking again more to my demographic of college students, it's easy while you're in college for those 4 years or however many years to take advantage and have a lot of fun on every single weekend with your buddies, but you're not necessarily putting the effort that you need towards building a network, okay, a professional network in particular. Okay, so take some time out to attend some networking events and some functions in your area, especially for whatever industry it is that you think that you'd like to pursue after graduation. And the key thing, guys, is don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till the last minute, because then you really are in a bind. Because at the end of the day, it really is all about who you know. Okay, so in leveraging your existing network, if you don't already have a profile on LinkedIn, get a LinkedIn profile, okay? And add your family members. Add whoever it is that you know who has a LinkedIn profile. Let that be your starting network. Join some organizations. Exchange contact information with people, even if they are students, and expand your network. From there, attend some actual professional events in your area, as I mentioned. Expand your network. So always be exchanging contact information and keeping up with those individuals, and add them to your online network so that you can keep track of those people, so that when you need something or they need something, you can get in touch with each other. Okay, so what I did when I was graduating from school, and what is so important, is that everyone lives in their own life bubble, okay? So what's so important to you right now is graduation. That's all that's on your mind and has been on your mind for about 6 months or however long. But that doesn't mean that everyone in your network knows that. They're in their own world, right? So what I actually put together is I put together an e-blast or an email that I sent to my network. And I said, hey guys, FYI, I'm graduating in May, this specific, date or whatever. This is what I'm looking to pursue. If you guys have any any connections that you could, or positions that you know about that you could, forward to me or recommend me, I would greatly appreciate it. So I'm really just putting it out there in the universe so that you never know who knows somebody or might have some sort of connection. But if you don't at least make the attempt to initiate that communication and let people know, there's no way that they're going to read your mind. Okay. So put it out there, put it out to your network, and be more specific and targeted to certain individuals if you know that they already do something in the line of work that you'd like to be in. Okay. So expanding on that, a couple things before I jump ahead. I remember telling this to a couple people, and one comment that I got back was, I don't want to feel like I'm using my friends or using my family or using my network type thing. And I remember kind of just being a little bit taken aback, but I understood what they were saying, and what I ultimately said to them is, if you would be willing to do this for that person, then you're not using them in any way. Okay. So there's a reason that you meet these certain individuals in your life, and we're all here to help each other, right? No one could achieve anything without each other. It's power in numbers, so don't think of yourself as taking advantage of your network. Just think of yourself as they're here to help you, much like you would be willing to help them. Okay. So don't get tripped up about that. Okay. Also, I remember graduating from school and not really wanting to get help from my parents, in setting me up to talk to certain people, because I wanted to do things on my own. And I remember my dad said something very profound, because I'll get to how I actually got my job, but my dad actually introduced me to the person who eventually became my employer. And I remember, he was very excited about it. And I was excited, but I was like, yeah, Dad, but I really wanted to do this on my own. And he said, Aubrey, I may have got your foot in the door and introducing you to that person, but ultimately they didn't hire me, they hired you. And that was very profound to me, and so don't be afraid of getting help from people. Okay. As long as you're willing to help other people. And at the end of the day, they are hiring you. They're not hiring anybody else. So if you are the right fit, you're the right fit, and that's great. So moving on. How did Aubrey get her job out of college? I'm going to be very, very honest. I did not submit a single job application. And the way that I got my job, I actually did, when I did my research, there were a couple niches within the event industry that I wanted to get more information about. I was trying to make a very informed decision on what avenue I really wanted to take. And so my mom had a random contact, didn't really know him all that well, but he used to do community events in San Antonio for the community. So I contacted him, I emailed him and said, would it be possible for me to meet with you? I'm graduating soon and I'm exploring my options. I'd like to get a little bit more information about what you do day to day to see if that's something that I might be interested in pursuing. And he said, absolutely. So I drove to San Antonio and I actually met with him in his office. And I'll get back to that. Another person was a complete cold contact. I wasn't sure if I wanted to work in the hotel industry. So there was a hotel in my city in San Marcos, and the Embassy Suites had just opened, and it was a convention center as well. So I asked to speak to the manager, got her email information, and I emailed her essentially the exact same thing and request to meet with her. She said, absolutely. And the third was the contact that my dad had, who introduced me to someone at a company that he worked at, who did event planning for the company. So she likewise said, absolutely, be happy to meet with you. And it's not me thrusting my resume in their face. It's actually me wanting to have a conversation with these people. So it was a different approach than just saying, I need a job. Can you please hire me? I wasn't even asking for a job. I was just asking to learn more about what they do day to day. And that, I think, is very important, because people want to feel special. They want to feel like what they have to say is important, and it is, right? And I made it important. So in summarizing all of that, every single one of those individuals offered me a job or offered to connect me to people who could get me a job. And I knew none of them from Adam, right? But what set it apart was my approach. And when I actually came there, I was prepared, right? So I came with a printed out list of questions. I had a thank you gift for them for their time. And every single one of them went above and beyond the call of duty. The guy in San Antonio actually requested to be my personal mentor. He was so excited. And he sat there with me, and I didn't thrust, and I recommend this. I don't give people my resume unless they actually request it. Because if you think about it, like on college campuses and whatnot, or just in general, you walk around, people are always handing you flyers and papers. Do you hold on to that stuff oftentimes? No, you throw it away, so don't thrust your stuff into other people's hands either. So in any instance, he sat with me and actually went through my resume with me, did some mock interviewing and all sorts of stuff. So he was a really great guy. I'm running out of time, but in short, be prepared when you go. And the last step, expand your network and focus on expanding your network. So I hope this helped. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. Bye.